Dynamic simulation is all about letting the computer create an animation for you. In a previous course in the Introduction to Blender Learning Flow, we covered the subject of animation and how we can use keyframes to move, rotate, scale, or otherwise deform objects over time. That type of one-at-a-time keyframe animation is amazing for giving personality to your characters and for having exact control over how your objects move, but there are times when it is just not practical. It's perfectly reasonable to animate one ball bouncing down the stairs, but what if you need 400 balls bouncing down the stairs all at the same time? Not only would you have to animate each one hitting the stairs, but you'd have to animate them bouncing off each other as well. And so the amount of time it takes to animate such a shot using keyframes increases exponentially with each extra ball you add. In this case, you don't really care how each individual ball moves, but are more concerned about the fact that they should all move according to the basic laws of physics and look pretty realistic. If there's one thing computers are great at doing for us, it's math. Since the laws of physics are just mathematical equations, Blender can use those equations to predict what would happen to an object under certain conditions. This process of giving a program variables and having it do the math for us to predict an outcome is called a simulation. Simulations that use real-world variables, like gravity and friction, and calculate based on traditional physics equations, for instance velocity equals distance over time, are often referred to as dynamic effects. The fun thing about dynamics is that we don't actually have to understand any of the complex math in order to make cool effects. In this course, we're going to take a look at the 9 types of dynamic effects that we can use inside of Blender. Particles, hair, force fields, rigid bodies, cloth, soft bodies, smoke, fluid, and dynamic paint. So if you're ready to make killer special effects, join me in the next lesson and we'll get started by talking about particles.